I wouldn't spend my time right now doing it. That's all. Kahlan tries to get Chan to see that everybody specializes to some degree. Plants and animals do it. Everything has its part. Women create babies. Men just kill everything and suck a lot.
That's Kahlan's point?
Yeah.
Wow, what the fuck, Kahlan?
Yeah, abrupt turn from the economics talk.
It's funny to me that she says something like this to Chandlan, who we know for a fact has an issue. Even Savidlin, who we like and we think is a good person, is like, I can't believe a woman carried me back when I was injured. Can you believe that? So this whole village feels the same way about their women. And here's Kahlan taking a direct shot back at Chandlan, proving to him that women are more than what he's giving him credit for.
Right, well, and taking a shot at him specifically for stuff that he didn't do, and just, like, in general, it stuck me kind of abruptly, too, like, whoa, that's like a slap to his face for no reason, like, it's not his fault that this fucking happened, and you're just like, yeah, how do you feel about that now? I think that would be offensive to any man, or not just man, but, like, any person if you took a shot like that, let alone somebody like Chandlan.
I think this is coming from Chandlan repeatedly just giving Kahlan shit all the time, reminding her how it's all her fault. So that's been being stored up. And so finally she's like, it may be a passive shot, but I'm still going to take one. Hey, men are assholes. You're a dick. I don't like you. And I'm awesome. We create life. So suck on that.
Yeah. You know what I want to suck on? Another beer.
Go on. Oh. Wow.
So I think we should take another break. We'll be back right after this.
And we're back. Boy, those were some good commercials.
Tasty good.
Mm-hmm.
So Kahlan weirdly asked Chandlan again if he can see how women create life and men take it away. Like, she's really trying to drive this point home to him. Like, she can't just let it drop after the one comment. She takes this lesson and runs it toward a rant and literally talks shit to the person she is talking about. And Chan takes it really well, like, right on the chin. He's like, he tells her not to judge the many based on the few because, like, he had nothing to do with that.
Yeah, he's like, well, that's your opinion. I don't think that's true of me, so I think you're wrong. And it's, overall true. You shouldn't judge the many on the few, but... Right,
but, like, if a group of people aren't condemning the other people in the group, then it becomes the many, right?
Exactly.
So they see a tailor's shop, and it catches Chandlan's eye because there's, like, wooden people, and he thinks that's fucking weird, which I can't really blame him. I'd probably be weirded out by wooden people just hanging around, too. But once they get into the tailor's shop, there is a dead woman's body bent over the counter with her dress up around her blue waist, and there's, like, scissors stuck in her back.
Not a wooden person.
No.
A real person.
No, it's a real person who turned blue, because, like, blood loss and stuff.
Yeah, not awesome.
And freezing. I think freezing probably, too, because it's cold.
And I think it has to do something to Shan to see something like that. Like, okay, yeah, men are so much better than women. I'm wrong on my opinion that at the very least we're as good as you. And then we see something like this where, yeah, men are so awesome, aren't they?
Yeah. I imagine that they don't see a lot of that in the village. Like, if you have one person who's a piece of shit and treats everyone badly or who hurts somebody, I'm imagining that probably gets dealt with abruptly.
Oh, yeah.
In a small village like that.
Pretty severely, I would imagine.
Yeah, so...
Plus, these guys aren't, like, manifest destiny. These guys just have their piece of the pie, and that's all they're concerned about. They don't like outsiders, but they do not go looking for trouble either.
Right. And they kill people, they eat them, but they don't, like, this type of carnage isn't something they experience ever.
No, not their way.
So, there's also a mannequin that I was a little bit confused as to how there's a mannequin there that has a lot of knife, I was going to say wounds, but it would just be knife marks, I guess. And Kahlan takes this to mean that people stood and waited their turn with the woman and, like, used it as a like a dartboard type thing. I don't know how you would make that leap exactly, that it wouldn't have just been like one person fucking around with their knife. I don't know. It makes it more dramatic, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, there's no way to really know for sure, but it's a pretty vivid scene.
Yes, it does put it like vividly in your brain that there's a line of men waiting for this opportunity with this person.
And it also shows how fucked up these guys really, really are. Because if there's a line of men who can get aroused enough after doing what they've done, in the scene that they're in, like the one we're in after the fact, and just looking at everything is awful enough. They were there in the moment.
With the sounds and...
Yeah, and they were still like, yeah, all this is fine. I could totally do some stuff.
Get it up. And you got to remember that we see this one specific woman. There's also all the women who were running after things had happened to them. So, like, this wasn't the only person who this happened to. This happened to many women in this village.
Yeah, well, all the way out into the woods, too.
Yes. Ugh. Okay. So, Chan reacts strongly by assuring Kahlan that he would cut the throat of any of his men for doing such a thing. Not all men are the same. So,
Right.
like you said, it obviously struck something in him to see that. It probably broke him a little bit to know that there are groups of men who are okay with this.
Yeah, oh yeah. That, and you can't just say men are better because, well, not all men are better. So that putting every man into one group does not work. Same as women. You can't just say that they're better, because there are good women, there are shitty women. It just doesn't work. You can't make assumptions on an entire gender that way.
You just heard Kahlan. She's like, they make life. So.
Okay, point to you. But we take it, so what?
Yeah, you're horrible.
That's wow. Never mind.
So they decide to leave the little tailor shop of horrors and head towards the palace. She's kind of dreading getting there. They've passed stables with dead horses, which seems almost more cruel than the people. Like, it shouldn't, but the horses didn't do anything for sure, and you definitely could have used them in one way or another. You could have just taken them with you.
I was going to say, you could have, as awful as it is, you could have used the people too. But I suppose it's just, you have less to worry about if everything is dead. You have what you have. You're not here to take. You're just here to kill.
I just think it speaks to more of a cruel level. Like, you're just going through and like, you're deciding to murder everybody instead of just, like, you could have left the horses.
Mm-hmm.
They wouldn't have even known. They would have been fine. Maybe not fine. They would have starved to death eventually. But you don't have to murder them. They're assholes.
Yeah, well, I think we can gather that they're just not good people anyway, for the simple fact that they're invading.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, yes, the horses was a bad thing, so are all the rapes. But, like, they invaded in the first place, so kind of fuck them, you know?
Agree. They pass inns and grand homes, and mainly just more and more gory death everywhere. They step over rent open bodies, and in the middle of this gruesome scene, Kahlan feels like a chill in her body, and she decides it's time, and she decides she needs to say a silent prayer, you know? And I can understand. This seems like an emotional day. There's a lot going on. I feel like there's a lot that you could pray for in a moment like, you know?
No, but that's just me.
I would think that you would want to pray for something like the spirits of the dead, or that this never happens again. But oh no! Kahlan decides to use this time to send a prayer to the good spirits to keep Richard warm. Of all fucking things, that's what she's worried about in this moment right now. With the death all around her, with not knowing if her sister's safe, like, of all things that she could be fucking praying for, she could send up a prayer that maybe Cirilla made it out of here alive.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, you sent Richard away. You left him to whatever fate that is. So, I mean, okay, my personal opinion, praying won't do much for you anyways. But he's not, like, he shouldn't be the focus of your attention right now. You're doing a thing with other people in Ebonicia, and you're witnessing a mass murder, or witnessed the after effects of mass murder. There are other things that if you were religiously inclined, you would want to pray for. Like all of the dead souls here that just died.
Right. But
literally every single one of them.
But instead, you're praying that Richard has a blankie. So, good for you.
Good to see that you got your priorities in line there.
And that's chapter end.
If you guys enjoyed this episode, you can let us know by writing an email to podcastatt@gmail.com. You can send us a voicemail or a text at 616-259-0025. You can find us on Facebook by searching all the things, Instagram at podcastatt, and Twitter at podcast_ATT. If you wanted to be extra cool, you can go to our Patreon and make a pledge. Anywhere from $1 to $10 gets you access to all of our deep cut discussions and gag reels and just a bunch of extra stuff that we wanted out there. Be sure to rate and review us if you want to. Thank you guys so much for listening. We will see you real soon.
Bye.